The skies above Eastern Europe have once again become the stage of rising tension, as reports began to circulate about a dramatic emergency takeoff involving a United States Air Force C-17 Globemaster 3. While official confirmations remain scarce, the accounts that have been discussed in military forums and circulated through social media suggest that the incident occurred during a heightened alert when U.S. aircraft were stationed in a forward operating area not far from Russian airspace. The C-17, a heavy military transport aircraft, is not typically associated with combat maneuvers or fast reactions under threat, yet in this case, the pilot's decision to throttle the engines to full power and execute a rapid departure speaks volumes about the seriousness of the moment and the unstable nature of the current security environment. Observers describe the takeoff as uncharacteristic for such a massive aircraft. The C-17 is designed to carry troops, heavy vehicles, and supplies, not to engage in evasive maneuvers under hostile conditions. For the aircraft to make a full-speed emergency departure suggests that either a potential threat was detected nearby or that a sudden escalation made it unsafe to remain on the ground. With Russian jets frequently patrolling contested zones and a constant risk of surveillance or intimidation in these areas, U.S. aircrews have been trained to respond quickly in situations where staying put could make them a target. What surprised many military watchers was how effectively the pilot managed to get the aircraft airborne despite its enormous size and weight, underscoring both the versatility of the C-17 and the discipline of U.S. airmen in high-pressure scenarios. For Washington, the incident highlights the risks of maintaining a strong presence near Russia's borders. Since the start of the Ukraine war, the United States has moved significant air assets into Europe, including strategic bombers, fighter escorts, and logistical transports like the C-17. These aircraft form the backbone of NATO's ability to reinforce frontline positions and deliver equipment to allies at short notice. But this very presence also places crews at risk of sudden encounters. Russia has repeatedly threatened that American and NATO activities so close to its territory amount to provocations, and Moscow has often shadowed or harassed Western aircraft in what analysts see as intimidation tactics. The emergency takeoff, if indeed triggered by such an encounter, would be another reminder that a miscalculation could spiral into something far more dangerous. The C-17 incident also speaks to the complexity of U.S. strategy. Unlike fighter jets, transport aircraft are not equipped to maneuver in dogfights or defend themselves against modern interceptors. Their safety relies on securing air corridors, operating within Allied territory, and sometimes moving under the protection of combat aircraft. The very fact that a Globemaster had to accelerate at full thrust to get off the ground suggests that whatever unfolded was sudden and potentially threatening. Military experts suggest it could have been the detection of a fast-moving Russian aircraft on radar, an unexpected approach by surveillance drones, or even electronic interference that raised alarms. In any case, the optics of the event fuel narratives on both sides. The U.S. portraying resolve and readiness under pressure, Russia insisting that Western forces are destabilizing the region. The footage and eyewitness descriptions, amplified on social media, have added a sense of drama that goes beyond military procedure. The idea of a heavy lifter like the C-17 roaring down the runway at maximum thrust conjures images of an aircraft leaving under duress, escaping a potential strike, or rushing to safeguard its mission. For everyday observers, it brings into sharp relief the reality that even non-combat aircraft are placed in harm's way when operating so close to a geopolitical fault line. For the crews, the experience is another reminder that routine deployments can turn into high-risk situations at a moment's notice, demanding not only technical skill but also split-second judgment. From the Russian perspective, incidents like this feed into a broader narrative that NATO and the United States are edging dangerously close to direct confrontation. Russian officials often frame these flights as provocative shows of force and insist that any sudden moves on their borders will be met with countermeasures. This rhetoric, combined with visible encounters in the air, amplifies the sense of brinkmanship that has defined the post-Ukraine war era. Western analysts, however, point out that Moscow also benefits from such drama, as it reinforces the perception that Russia remains a power capable of challenging U.S. air dominance. The C-17's emergency takeoff, while dramatic, may thus be one more episode in the cycle of posturing and escalation that both sides engage into Project Strength. What cannot be denied is the psychological impact of the event. Images and reports of American aircraft scrambling under pressure carry symbolic weight, showing both vulnerability and resilience. For U.S. allies in Eastern Europe, it demonstrates that American forces are committed enough to operate in risky environments, even when under threat. For critics, it raises the question of whether the United States is being drawn too far into a dangerous standoff, risking accidents or clashes that could ignite a larger conflict. The incident has sparked debate about whether Washington should continue such forward deployments or consider alternative ways of supporting allies without placing crews directly in harm's way. In the end, the C-17 Globemaster's full-speed takeoff stands as a powerful reminder of the fragile balance in U.S.-Russia relations. Whether caused by an imminent threat or an abundance of caution, the pilot's decision encapsulates the broader climate of suspicion, rivalry, and tension that defines today's geopolitical landscape. As long as American aircraft continue to operate in contested regions, the risk of sudden, dramatic incidents like this will remain. It is a sobering example of how close the world hovers to the edge of miscalculation, and how quickly routine military operations can transform into events with global implications.